Welcome, friends, to Boiler Room Detective. This case is the case for a hybrid boiler system. My contractor friend Pete asked me to meet at his customer's apartment building. The building was currently heated with an old atmospheric cast iron boiler and copper baseboard radiation. This was typical for my area. The owner wanted to replace the cast iron sectional boiler with new condensing boilers. She wanted backup in case one boiler went down. After the meeting, Pete and I stopped at the coffee shop to talk about the project. "Money's tight on this one," he said. He told me this on every project. "Aren't they all?" I asked, and he nodded. Then he told me the local contractor known as Low Bid Mike was also bidding. Low Bid Mike was always less than anyone else. I thought for a moment and suggested a hybrid boiler system. "What's that?" Pete asked. "It's when you mix condensing and non-condensing boilers on the same project," I responded, and he looked at me with a confused look. A condensing boiler, when connected to a standard hydronic system, will only condense for a small portion of the heating season. The rest of the time, the boiler has an efficiency of about 85 to 88%, I said. "That can't be right," Pete said. "I saw the brochure said they were 98% efficient." "You probably missed the up to part. It's usually in small font," I replied. Opening my iPad, I showed him the efficiency curve for a well-known boiler brand where the water temperature was around 170 degrees Fahrenheit. And he said, "Well, I wouldn't use that brand. Is yours more efficient?" I shook my head and said no one's boiler is, and explained how the dew point temperature is between 128 and 133 degrees Fahrenheit water temperature. This is based upon 3 to 6% oxygen in the flue gases. The dew point temperature is the temperature where the flue gases start to condense. The condensing boiler will not reach full condensing mode until the water is much cooler. I showed him the efficiency curve for another boiler which showed 98% efficiency at low fire with a return water temperature of 65 degrees Fahrenheit. "Won't be able to heat the room from 68 to 70 with water that cold," he observed. "Not unless you add some baseboard," I said. "How much more?" "More than double the amount you have now," I said. The following are the reasons I shared with Pete for considering a hybrid heating system. Equipment costs are much lower with a hybrid system than a straight condensing system. A condensing boiler is typically 15 to 20% more expensive than a non-condensing boiler. By using one condensing and one non-condensing boiler instead of two condensing boilers, your equipment costs are already lower than Low Bid Mike's. Most condensing boilers must be vented outside with separate flues. When using a hybrid system, the non-condensing boiler may be able to reuse the existing flue and chimney, while you only have to cut one hole through the outside wall for the condensing boiler flue. Also, some owners find the look of flue vents through the side wall of their building unappealing. One owner told me it looked like it would be a pirate ship. With a hybrid system, you would limit the outside wall penetrations as the non-condensing boilers would use the existing chimney. Another consideration is safety. It's easier to safely sidewall vent one boiler rather than two or three through a wall in an existing building and still meet the code requirements for the International Mechanical Code, especially if there are operating windows above the flue pipes. According to the Chartered Institute of Building Service Engineers, or CIBSE, the average life of a condensing boiler is about 10 to 15 years, while a standard boiler has a life expectancy of almost double that, according to ASHRAE. To extend the life of the condensing boiler, I like to use a condensing boiler during the shorter parts of the heating season whenever the outdoor temperature is warmer. This limits the operating time and extends the boiler life of the condensing boiler. During the colder weather, I let the non-condensing boiler, which lasts 30 years, to be the workhorse. A condensing boiler requires more maintenance than a standard efficiency boiler because of the acids formed by the condensing flue gases. The condensing boiler must be opened and cleaned every year or two. The conventional boiler will not require the same amount of maintenance as the condensing boiler. If you were to have one condensing boiler rather than two, the owner's maintenance costs are lower. The only drawback to a hybrid system is the off-the-shelf reset controls will not properly sequence a hybrid system without some programming help. To control the hybrid system, I like to use this control sequence. When the outside air temperature is below 40 degrees, I have the standard efficiency boiler as the lead boiler and the condensing boiler as the lag or backup boiler. When the outside air temperature is above 40, I have the condensing boiler as the lead and the standard efficiency boiler as the lag boiler. In closing, a hybrid system will allow you to have the efficiency of a condensing heating plant with the longevity of a standard boiler plant, all at a lower install cost than low bid mic. If you would like to contact me, my contact information is here. In addition, I have two websites. BrewingWithSteam.com has my monthly blog posts on steam systems for breweries, and Fire Ice Heat is my company website. I have written 11 books on boilers, and they are available on Amazon. In addition, you can find some of my writings in these fine publications. Thanks for stopping by Boiler Room Detective, and I hope to see you on the next case.